And welcome to The Balancing Act. I'm Olga Villaverde.
And I'm Montel Williams. Today, we have solutions for your health.
That's right, a tool that's helping those with diabetic foot ulcers.
Plus, an easier way to get your prescriptions.
Something all of us can prescribe to. No more robocalls or text. We got a great solution coming up.
Absolutely. And how life insurance can make a big difference on so many levels.
And it all starts
right now.
Here we go. People with uncontrolled diabetes may develop poor circulation, and this in turn can lead to more severe problems: heart attack, stroke, kidney problems, Montel, even diabetic foot ulcers.
It's crazy. Well, today we're going to be talking about diabetes and why millions of Americans are suffering from wounds that just won't heal.
Joining us today is Cindy Miller, registered nurse and global medical translational lead for 3M Medical Solutions.
Thanks so much for being here today, Cindy.
Thank you for having me.
Cindy, let's just talk about diabetes. It's such a devastating disease, and we really have to create awareness about it.
It is amazing. There are millions of Americans that most likely have type 2 diabetes and they're not even aware, because it really is without a lot of symptoms early on, and that's where we want to intervene. We want to intervene early before all those circulatory changes you just mentioned happen to the heart, the brain, and even the foot.
Absolutely. Well, look, we brought some pictures with us today of foot ulcers, but tell us what causes these ulcers and how dangerous are they?
Well, those very circulatory changes that we talked about just a minute ago actually impact the nerve endings as well in the foot. And because of that, we end up with many of our diabetics have either burning or tingling. It's called neuropathy, or they end up with total lack of sensation. And when you don't have that protective sensation, things can rub on shoes. You can step on something sharp or hot and not be aware of it. When that skin has a break in it, bacteria can get in and you can end up with an infection and develop a diabetic foot ulcer.
You talked about intervening early, which is so important, and 3M Medical Solutions is helping patients do that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you know, thank you for asking that. The interesting thing about 3M is when we think of 3M, we think of Post-it notes.
That's what I thought of. The little yellow thing.
Yes,
right?
yes, all sorts of colors. Or Scotch brand tape, or the command hooks and strips.
That's the one I think about.
Yeah, so you don't like pull a big hole in your wall or have to hammer things in. But many people are unaware that we have an entire healthcare business group. I work in the Medical Solutions Division, where we have hundreds of scientists and engineers and physicians and nurses who work to develop patient-centered scientific answers to help enhance healing.
And we have
some
here.
along, right?
Yeah, we did. In fact, for the really easy to use, your physician who we work with and work on training programs have things that are easy to access for that smaller wound so it doesn't develop into something big. Or if the wound is more aggressive or assertive, there's advanced products like the 3M Activac therapy system.
Wow, talk to me about how it works.
Well, this is a really wonderful product in that the granufoam, the 3M VAC granufoam, would be cut to fit inside of the ulcer. Then they would place a strip of what's called the VAC Dermatac drape over that, cut a little hole, connect it to this therapy unit, and the therapy unit applies a suction or negative pressure. As the air is pulled out of the granufoam gets smaller, pulling the wound together, pulling out the exudate or wound drainage and infectious materials and storing them in the canister. The dressings change 3 times a week, and the doctor will watch how that wound progresses towards healing.
And what are some of the risks associated with this kind of treatment?
As with any medical device, there are some risks and benefits, and one of the things that, because this is a physician-prescribed therapy, the physician who's well-trained in the risks and benefits will discuss it with the patient so they can make an informed decision.
That's what we want. We want patients to get better. Cindy, I also want to talk about the Patient VAC Therapy website, the app, which is amazing, and it's called My Wound Healing. Share that with us.
We love to help educate. That's what we feel, that early awareness that you were talking about. So those of your viewers who, even if you're not diabetic or you don't have a wound, you can go to mywoundhealing.com and you'll find videos, you'll find patient stories and testimonials, you'll find more about the science of how and why it works. And then those patients that do actually have Activac therapy prescribed for them can download an app to their phone, and they get to have a collaborative interaction with the tasks, with mechanisms of action, with frequently asked questions. There's 24/7 support. So it's a wonderful way for us to continue to support the patient on their wound healing journey.
Speaking of patient, would you mind just sharing, and I know you can't say names, but what feedback do you get? They must be so thrilled.
It is a wound, like you said, Montel, that is so hard to heal. When you have diabetes, any wound on your body, but especially on the foot. And so to feel that there's hope, when they see the doctor be pleased with how the wound is looking, instead of it being chronically stagnated. It gives them that, because I think hope is the answer to many things, to continue the therapy that the doctor has prescribed. You know, 3M encourages all of your viewers to engage with their healthcare team regarding their risks for diabetes, as early intervention can make so much difference in their health. If you or anyone you know has or develops a wound, please know that 3M has a wide range of wound solutions to help your healthcare provider select the appropriate therapy.
Well, we can't thank you enough for being here. And thank them for all the hard work that they're doing. And of course, if you want more information, you can go to our website, thebouncingAct.com.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Do appreciate
so
it.
much.
Do appreciate your time.
Do you have any student loan debt you need help with, sir?
How did you get this number?
To me, it popped up on a dialer.
You called here in the Nevada desert. This is actually Area 51.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
Wait, did you recognize what you just heard? An annoying robocall, but with a twist. The responder stringing the caller along because it was a bot.
I love it. And listen to these stats. 6.1 billion robocalls were made in April of 2022. That's nearly 23 spam calls for every person. And last year, there were 72 billion.
With a B?
Yes, spam calls and 88 billion spam texts placed to American smartphones. Now, the result, according to our next guest and her company's proprietary RoboKiller, Americans lost more than 40 billion, Montel.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, to these phone scams, with an average reported loss to the Federal Trade Commission of $1,200 per robocall scam and $800 per text scam. I just can't.
That is literally criminal.
Yep.
And here with much more is Julia Porter, who's the VP of RoboKiller. Hi, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
RoboKiller.
I'm loving it. For sure. Look, I mean, in all honesty, a lot of people get these calls. Why are we even getting them?
Well, Montel, I think we can all agree that everyone is sick and tired of receiving spam calls, and now we have to deal with the explosion of spam texts too. Unfortunately, we have a technology called caller ID spoofing to thank, which is a technology scammers use to mask their real caller ID, tricking you into answering the phone. That's often why you get spam calls or texts that look like they're from your area code, so that you'll answer them. That's not really an important call. That's obviously a scammer, as we know. Scammers also love this technology because it's very difficult or nearly impossible to trace back to the true origin. And as you know, that then makes these calls and texts very difficult to stop.
And I'm all about taking things into my own hands, right?
Sure.
But sometimes it's impossible. Your company is really, RoboKiller, it's really making a difference.
Yes, well, RoboKiller was launched in 2017 with the mission to rid the world of spam calls and texts. We're doing that by trying to apply new technology to solve an old problem, which is these spam calls, and now a new problem, spam texts. RoboKiller does that by using AI and machine learning to identify and block spam calls and texts before they reach you. Our algorithm with this technology means that we're 99% effective in doing that, and we can identify spam calls and texts in less than a second before.
Wow.
That's crazy. Well, I played a little clip at the top of the show, but let's take a look at RoboKiller in action.
Well, here's the thing.
For like 30 seconds, give me your opinion, and then I'm all game to what you need from me. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind. Your honest opinion.
We're off key, but you know what? There's always room for improvement.
That's awesome!
Absolutely. Come on now.
So what you're hearing, Montel, is an answer bot. Answer bots are spam-fighting bots that are designed to intercept your spam calls and waste telemarketer and scammers' time instead of yours, giving them the taste of their own medicine.
Absolutely. And it works for text too?
It does not work for text, just for calls. The best part about it, though, is that scammers are tied up for hours on end dealing with these hilarious bots ranging from iced tea to political impersonators.
That's great.
To date, answer bots have wasted about 500 million minutes of scammers' time, which is time that they can't scam other people.
I wish the technology could find out where it came from, so you could charge them a buck, turn them to the FTC, charge them a buck for every call.
What about call screening?
So what RoboKiller, you might also be asking the question, will RoboKiller block calls that I want from calls that aren't saved in my contacts? We have thought of this as well, and just introduced a new feature called call screening. What call screening will do is act as your real-time call assistant for any calls that you receive that aren't in your phone book and we've determined are safe calls, meaning they're not spam calls, we'll actually ask the caller to introduce themselves and why they're calling in real time, transcribe that to you on your phone, and then you get to decide whether or not to answer. So I like to call
that's pretty cool.
Caller justification instead of caller ID.
And is it customizable?
It is totally customizable. RoboKiller has a number of different flexible blocking options, including call screening, where any user of any technological confidence can come in, tell RoboKiller how they want their calls and texts blocked, whether they want that aggressive or passive, and RoboKiller will do the work for them.
Okay, we want this, don't we?
Now, no kidding.
Okay, so how do we get started, and what's the cost?
Yeah, so RoboKiller is available for any iOS or Android device. We integrate and block spam calls and texts on any U.S. phone carrier as well as Canada carriers. We do also offer flexible call blocking options ranging from free spam caller ID to premium blocking levels like I just described. Our plans at most cost about $5 a month, and we do offer a 7-day free trial for trying out any of the premium services that we offer.
Look, thank you so much for being here. Where can people go to get more information?
Thank you so much for having me. Anyone can go to the iOS or Android App Store or robokiller.com for more information.
Fantastic
Such a great
stuff.
service.
I'm getting it right now.
I'm going to get it for sure. And if you want more information, you can go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
I recently spent some time with our friends at Family First Life, and when it comes to life insurance, people protect their families by getting a policy. But let's face it, no one expects to ever cash in on it. But sometimes the unthinkable happens, and it's a tough reality. No one knows better than Mike Sizer, Family First Life Marketing Director. Take a look. Mike, you've been in this business for quite a while. What does it mean to you? It's become very passionate to you.
It has, because it's about helping families. You know, I got into the business over 10 years ago, really just to make some extra income outside of what I was doing. And I fell in love with the ability to help families and put them in a better position. I knew that once I left their home, they were in a better position than before I got there.
And that makes an impact, right? It makes it real world for you?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, Olga, I was in the business about 6 months. I met a family. They were looking for some mortgage protection coverage, 50, 60-year-old couple. The husband was not excited about buying life insurance. The wife wanted it really bad. And I remember her looking at him and telling him, Ozzy, if you don't get this today, you're going to need it, you know?
Wow.
And so I'm 6 months in, really don't know what I'm doing. I write the policy, don't think much of it. About 6 months later, I get a call from the wife.
Oh my gosh.
And her husband passed away. And I'm sweating, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I call the company. And long story short, we end up delivering a check, you know, to take care of the mortgage.
How did it make you feel knowing that you brought that peace of mind for her?
It's hard to even put into words. It's knowing that, you know, I was able to make a difference in that person's life. So I believe I was put there for a reason that day. You know, so to be able to have that impact on that family, it just, again, makes it so real, and understand that, you know, having that different approach going into homes in the future.
When you recruit agents, how do you prepare them for that compassion and that empathy? Because one thing is to go in and make the sale.
Right.
Another thing is, you know, to care for the families.
Yeah.
How do you teach them, hey, this may happen one day?
We really try to select the right type of person, and because you can't fake empathy, and the clients will understand that, they'll pick up on it. So I think we do a lot to try to weed out, you know, individuals that may not be in that, you know, in this for that reason. And also just prepare them with sharing stories, you know, sharing personal things that we've gone through, showing them that, hey, anything that you're going to go through, we've already gone through it, we've done that, you know.
For our viewers who'd like more information, where can they go?
FamilyFirstLife.com.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Olga.
Appreciate it. For more information, go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
You know, now more than ever, our ability to cure what ails us has become really an integral part of our lives. But the way we go about doing it hasn't changed in years, and I'm talking about pharmacy.
Joining us today is Carrie Brees, CEO of NowRx, which is changing not only the way that we experience the pharmacy, but how we interact with those involved in purchasing medication.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Sure, you don't have a background in pharmacology, so what inspired you to get into this business?
No, that's right. My background is technology and innovation. I've been CEO for several software startup companies. And I just had a personal experience when I went to the pharmacy one day for a sore knee. And I'll never forget driving from my doctor's office to the pharmacy like I always do with a paper prescription in my hand. And it really struck me that something seemed out of place in today's modern world where I'm driving a piece of paper across town. And then what really blew my mind is when I got to the pharmacy, I stood in one line just to drop off that piece of paper. Then I sat down, they called me later, and I stood in a second line to pay for the medication. I sat down again and stood in a third line to speak with a pharmacist. And I thought, something's wrong with this. How come no one's modernized and innovated pharmacy? And it really started me thinking about, how much is this waste really costing our healthcare system?
What always gets me is, how the devil can a pharmacist read that little piece of paper anyway? Doctors seem to use the worst handwriting to do that, and these people, I can't read. They gave me a prescription.
2 times BID. So you go through that moment, which I've done, and you have too. It's kind of like an aha moment. And what did you then do after that?
So having a background in technology, my first place that I began to look was at the software systems that run the pharmacy industry. And we knew that we wanted to create a system where we could get patients free same-day delivery for every prescription. And the way to really do that is to bring efficiencies into the back-end systems. The pharmacy industry is run by very antiquated software systems. It causes a lot of inefficiency, a lot of waste. And that's really the first place that we started, was rebuilding the system inside pharmacies that do the processing.
Wow. Well, now, besides the hassle of going to a drugstore by itself, I mean, how does this really help people, traditionally go out and purchase a medication? How does it help them?
Well, there are several big issues. It goes far beyond just convenience. And our software system makes fewer instances of where a patient maybe has a delay in getting their medication, or maybe miscommunicates with the insurance company. They don't get it covered, so they can't pay for it. It's too expensive. Or maybe their physician doesn't send in a refill authorization on time. So our software systems take care of a lot of that with AI and some of our machine learning algorithms. But there's a bigger problem here in that it translates into better patient health. If a patient doesn't take their medication, and maybe they have a chronic disease like high blood pressure, or maybe they need an antibiotic or blood clotting medication, these are very serious issues. If they have a delay at the pharmacy because some software system didn't take care of it properly, they can end up in the hospital. The New England Health Institute estimates that this country spends $290 billion
With a B?
With a B.
Oh, my goodness.
On hospitalizations that could be avoided had the patient just taken their medication on time the way the doctor intended.
It's ridiculous. So what's the solution here?
I'm a technologist, so we look for ways to innovate. And we built a system called QuickFill. It's a pharmacy management system that improves the collaboration between physician, insurance company, pharmacist, and patient, better communication, better collaboration, and we bring a lot of efficiencies into the back-end processing of the pharmacy. So we use robotics to do dispensing, for example. So we have a robotic dispensing machine that can sort, count, bottle, label, and cap a medication in under 30 seconds. So the pharmacist has more time to spend one-on-one with the patient, better collaboration, fewer medications falling through the cracks, causing delays for patients. We could like to call it pharmacy the way it should be.
Wow. Well, now, it sounds like the future of pharmacy is going to be NowRx. So where and how can people use your service?
So our service is currently offered throughout California and Arizona. We are soon opening up locations in Colorado, Nevada, Washington, and Texas, and we're expanding nationwide, so coming to a city near you soon.
So for our viewers who'd love more information, where can they go, Carrie?
Then come to our website at NowRx.com.
This is coming to a state near you?
There you real soon.
We need you to come to Florida.
That's right. Come on down.
Coming soon.
Okay,
there you go.
fantastic.
And of course, if you want more information, you can always go to our website, thebalancingact.com. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Remember to head to our Facebook page, like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and visit thebalancingact.com to enter our latest sweepstake or giveaway.
Wow, you get something for free.
Yes!
Be safe. Love it, family viewers. We'll see you next time.